Standard vises are great until you try to hold something that isn't a perfect square. The moment you introduce a curve or an irregular angle, everything slips and slides around. That frustration is why the fractal vise has suddenly taken over the DIY world. The concept is actually over a century old, but it feels brand new when you see it in action. Instead of two flat plates, you have these clever pivoting segments. They wrap around whatever you are working on, like a metallic hug. This spreads the clamping force across multiple contact points. It means you get a secure hold without crushing your project. The WhiteRhino version of this tool is a fascinating piece of kit because it makes this tech affordable. Premium versions of these tools can cost hundreds of dollars. This one gives you that core functionality at a tiny fraction of the price. It feels surprisingly solid in your hand. It weighs just over a pound and requires zero assembly. You just take it out of the box and start working immediately. The dual jaw design is a smart touch. One side is totally flat for your normal tasks. The other side is the fractal jaw for the weird stuff. It has a brass Tommy bar for leverage and a silicone base to keep it steady on your desk. But we need to talk about the trade-offs. Those pivoting segments are not perfect. Sometimes they need a little coaxing to align properly. They don't always snap into place on the first try. You might find yourself fiddling with the jaws to get that perfect grip. Also, do not expect massive clamping force. This is not the tool for heavy-duty metal fabrication or bending thick bars. It is built for finesse. If you are a machinist who needs to swap parts and maintain a perfect zero, this will frustrate you. Every time you grip a part, the jaws settle in a slightly different way. You cannot re-zero it. Period. That is the reality of the design. However, if you work with jewelry or electronics or small model parts, this thing is a game changer. It solves a problem that flat vises simply cannot handle. It is all about matching the tool to the actual job on your bench. If most of your work involves flat stock, you should probably stick with a traditional bench vise. The complexity here would just slow you down. But for those irregular shapes that drive you crazy, this is a lifesaver. The truth is always more nuanced than the marketing videos. You get real versatility and a solid build, but you give up some precision. It is a brilliant entry point into more advanced work holding. It is heavy enough to feel like a real tool, but light enough to move around your workspace. For delicate projects, it provides a level of security that gives you much more confidence. Just remember that it is a tool for precision, not power. Knowing that difference is the key to getting the most out of it. It fills a gap in the workshop that you might not even realize you have until you try to clamp a round pipe or a jagged piece of wood. It is an old idea that finally became cheap enough for the rest of us to use.